White House. Bitcoin mining must be greener or US should ban it. Welcome to a bear market, everybody, where the headlines just get crazier and crazier. This is what we see in bear markets. Here's a crazy headline. It's a kind of a scary headline, right? Kind of a scary headline for Bitcoin. Kind of a scary headline for proof of work projects. If you think about it, this is pretty crazy. I want to go through this and kind of just talk about what it means for crypto right now, what it means for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So limit or eliminate. That's the general theme here. Biden executive order triggers shock US Bitcoin ban proposal after radical Ethereum upgrade and wild crypto price swing. So this kind of plays into the narrative, proof of work versus proof of stake. If you're on crypto social medias of any platform, any type, you see that argument. You see kind of proof of work fans and proof of stake fans just kind of going at it, debating about which is better, why it's better. And then you have proof of work fans and supporters, especially recently, trying to talk about, trying to define and explain the potential benefits of proof of work as it applies to energy. And this is really a big piece of this story. It's a really big piece of the story. What I'm most interested in is how is this narrative of potentially banning Bitcoin because it's proof of work and takes up so much energy, how does this narrative play into this next cycle, this next bull run, right? In terms of where money is going, even big money, because this narrative of proof of work equals bad will likely push a lot of money, retail and institutional money, to proof of stake. And interesting to note, the number 2 crypto right now this month getting ready to move to proof of stake, that is Ethereum. So that's a big deal. Following an executive order made by US President Joe Biden in March in the aftermath of an extraordinary 2021 Bitcoin price surge, the Office of Science and Technology said the government has a responsibility to protect people from pollution caused by cryptocurrencies. There they go again. There's the government. There they go again, talking about protecting people as if it's their job. I'm not going to get into that, but this is really what's driving things. So this is the report. It's like 46 pages, and I have a couple pieces of the report that I want to just kind of bring to your attention. And it's just a few different pieces, a few different points, I should say. And I just want to read a couple pieces of this. So let's look at this first point. It's right here. So the most popular alternative to the energy intensive proof of work consensus mechanism is proof of stake, which is used for networks such as Solana, Cardano, the proposed Ethereum 2.0, and others. In proof of stake, participants called validators typically stake an amount of crypto assets, and then it goes on. This is interesting to me because this is a report coming out of the White House, and it does kind of a deep dive into the technical side of proof of work versus proof of stake, and starts talking about proof of stake mechanisms, proof of stake protocols in the crypto ecosystem. You see it here: Solana, Cardano, Ethereum 2.0, Ethereum getting proof of stake this month if the merge goes well. So this, again, I mentioned, I'm very curious how this entire news cycle and this narrative and this story right now of proof of work versus proof of stake, I'm curious to see what this does for the next cycle, and especially in terms of Bitcoin dominance. Is Bitcoin losing its steam already? And is this going to play into that? That's something that I'm very much curious of. Now, another piece of this article that I'd like to read is this one right here. Now, this says an alternative, less energy-intensive consensus mechanism called proof of stake was estimated to consume up to 0.28 billion kilowatt hours per year. So they're really digging into that data. And I think it's really important that I note this because the report wasn't all bad as they're digging into all of this data. They ended up kind of talking about the benefits potentially that Bitcoin could have. And you can see the crypto asset industry can potentially use stranded methane gas, which is the principal component of natural gas to generate electricity for mining. And then it goes on, and then at the end here it says, while the EPA and the Department of the Interior have proposed new rules to reduce methane for oil and natural gas operations, crypto asset mining operations that capture vented methane to produce electricity can yield positive results for the climate. So I wanted to point that out just because it's not like the report was all 100% terrible and bad, right? There was a small portion of the report that talked about something like that, a positive spin on everything going on here. But when we're looking at just this general growth of Bitcoin, and we always look at the charts on this YouTube channel, we look at this momentum and this trend of higher highs and higher lows of Bitcoin in a market cap for crypto that's right around, hovering around $1 trillion as a whole. We know the crypto space is so early. Bitcoin obviously was the first, and it's still number one by quite a large margin. But with things like this happening, in reports like this coming out, and narratives that are this meaningful in the state of just in general, the world, and this is a really big narrative in the world. I don't know if you've noticed or not, people talking about climate change, governments taking control in that regard and how they do things and what they regulate. Now, Bitcoin getting tangled into that could be very interesting to watch how this continued growth of Bitcoin plays out. And even more so, again, I can't say this enough, I'm very curious to see, especially now this month. This is such a big story right now because Ethereum this month moving to proof of stake. You all know I'm a very big fan of Cardano proof of stake, the largest proof of stake mechanism in the world, the most robust, the most secure. It is the best in my opinion. So with all of these things going on, I can't help but wonder going into this next cycle how this is going to play out. What's the White House going to decide? I will not be surprised at all if we start seeing more and more Bitcoin backers, Bitcoin maximalists, even if you want to call them, the fans of Bitcoin that are truly fighting for Bitcoin to stick around. I will not be surprised if we see more and more of them opening up strong dialogue with just leaders in Congress to really shift the narrative into that positive direction, the positive impacts of that Bitcoin can have from an energy perspective. And I'm already seeing that happen, but I think especially now it's going to be happening a lot more. So let me know your thoughts. I thought that was interesting topic for the day to cover. Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit that like button. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.